Multitudes of business houses have thrived, survived, and mushroomed on total quality management. A key pillar of total quality management has been Kaizen, which means continuous improvement. The zeroth step of Kaizen is 5S. 5S is a practice that results in a sustained state of workplace organization, thus eliminates waste caused by disorganization and a messy environment. It also helps create a safer and cleaner environment which enables better performance. The 5S stand for sort, straighten, shine, standardize, and sustain. Here is an attempt to apply 5S to a pan shop. The pan shop under study is Pagal Pan Bhandar, Turner Road, Bandra West. What we see here in the video now is Pagal Pan Bhandar and before implementing 5S, the processes. The owner here is seen preparing a pan, and at the same time you can see the workplace behind. When we started the 5S activity and we understood the process, we found out that his entire arrangement of resources used for making the pan was as scattered as possible. The arrangement was more so need-based. He would arrange the shop in the morning and place the so-called utensils where he kept his resources the way he wanted, not in a particular order and perhaps not in the same order every day. Also, the lineup of resources was not the way it should have had been. Haphazard placement, scattered placement was the order of the day, and perhaps the owner had no problem in a scattered arrangement the way it was. Also, what you would see over here is the boxes of the candies lying the way it is. So in case a particular candy was asked first, it was placed before anything else. Also, what you would see is that the resources are lined up the way they have to be lined up, and a major problem that the owner faced was he never knew when a particular resource was exhausted and when he need to replenish it. Keeping all this in mind, we implemented 5S, and our implementation process was keeping in mind the study of his shop and the way he operated. If you look at the revised setup right now, on the right hand side of the screen, on the right hand side of the observer, you would see that almost all the requisites of making a pan have been lined up. Also, the utensils have been lined up and stacked in such a way that it is in the order in which he makes the most frequent pans. So for example, if meetha pan is made more than anything else, the requisites are in that order. A second improvement exercise that we did is that a lot of people who come to ask for cigarettes ask for singular sticks of cigarette. We made sure that we created boxes of singular stick brands that are sold and kept open boxes for him in one particular container that he could use as and when he wanted. Also, behind the screen, at the fag end, you would notice that all the candy boxes are placed together. All the candy boxes are placed together and stacked together for him to keep candies out over there. A very important achievement and a tough one for us to do was to make sure that the owner and therefore the worker up there put on hand gloves for making the pan at the end of the day. What you would notice on your screen is on the rack above, the cigarettes have been placed brand wise, rack behind, resources placed in terms of utility, and here you would see on the left hand side the stacking of the pans, and on the upper front the stacking of the leaves that are used in packing of the pans. Furthermore, we created a pack stand for putting the plastic bags there, putting up the plastic bags there. Some disclaimers that we would like to give here before proceeding to the advantages of 5S. One, our visit to most of the pan shops told us that most of the pan shops in some way or the other were implementing 5S in their own sweet way. Second, most of the pan shops were not interested in cooperating simply because the anti-tobacco fervor, they thought that they were being filmed for a wrong reason or to put them into trouble. 3, when we convinced this guy to help us out, he had fundamental beliefs on him that what he's doing is right. And therefore it took a lot of time to explain to him the orientation of 5S. We are very sure that the profits that have come to him are intangibles to begin with in terms of a bigger space, hygiene in terms of the use of the gloves, and most importantly, improved productivity in terms of preparing a pan faster and better than what he did earlier before. Thank you very much for giving us this opportunity.